This is getting ridiculous. Don't you think? I don't know. There's just so much of it. And my little thingy on my little my little ears on top weren't straight this morning. So let me just take it down. Ugh, there we go. We'll just take it down for now. Let it go. Ooh, there we go. So, anyways, I wanted to come on for a quick minute and just give you some 411 of the cray cray of the world. And for those who are just joining me for the first time, my name is Mary June Tracy. I am a psychic medium, spiritual love of life coach who needs lipstick. Of course, I need lipstick. Crazy. Good morning. So, there's hair in my mouth and everything else. There you go. Got the lipstick. That's a nice color. There we go. Give you guys all a kiss as I do this. Man, there is so much happening. I think it's so unique. This is what I love astrology. Some of the things that happen. I'm going to make sure my volume is up on everything. There we go. Volume is up there. Volume is up over here. So I want to make sure you guys can hear me. What I find amazing about astrology, and this is so Mars was opposing Mercury retrograde yesterday. So Mars opposing Mercury retrograde, which is and then trining over to Uranus. Now this you'll never see in your lifetime again. Like never. And it was so unique. And at that time, as it was doing, there's a couple things that happened. It was just if you watched anything in the news, Trump declassified everything to do with the assassination with Kennedy, both the brothers, and with MLK and Martin Luther King. So I was just like, oh, that's cool. That's like he signed a declass. So information about this, open information about this is coming out. So that's going to be wow, where everybody's like freaking out about that. But that's not even the crazy, like the other crazy shit is that he zoomed in to the WEF and called them all out. Called them all out. Just basically said, we're not doing this green thing. We're not doing this woke thing. We're not doing any of this stuff. And everybody, they're just like, oh, ha, ha, yeah, I guess. Oh. It was hilarious to watch. And Rebel News is there. And I don't know if you watch Rebel News. You can like them, hate them, or whatever. So Rebel News was there. But what I love is that they're reporters and they're on the ground. Like they're like asking questions. They even got to the CEO of BlackRock and following him. And BlackRock guy took his camera out, took pictures of these guys. And they're like, well, why are you taking pictures of us? Like, what's your big deal? Didn't want to answer any of their questions. But you could see that, things are getting shook up and they don't like it. They don't like it one bit. They don't like that they don't have one of the most powerful countries in the world in their back pocket anymore, which is very interesting, right? And we're seeing all this shakeup. I mean, we're seeing people, instead of saying, hey, yeah, this is great, because it is, there's a lot of prosperity and abundance that's coming in that is getting you to really think outside the box. That's what Aquarius is. It's about thinking outside the box, about allowing yourself to expand. And sometimes you can get a little bit out there. But if you notice with Pluto going into Aquarius, it's lighter. It's air. It's not in Earth anymore. It's not like, oh, drudging. We got to do this. It's air, it's lighter. Yet there is still that intensity. Of course, we have the moon going is in Sag today. So there is that intensity that's coming. But the moon's making a nice little sextile over to the sun. It is squaring over to Jupiter, but Jupiter is wanting to it's sort of like, okay, you're looking at all of that, but there's all of this over here too. There's more to expand, there's more to look at. So, you can go down all these crazy little rabbit holes, but there's still more to look at. There's still more to do. So we're going to be seeing a lot more of this coming out. And just going back to that opposition with Mercury, and Mercury was in Cancer. Mercury was in Capricorn. So Capricorn government, and then Mars in Cancer, which is the country. I mean, Mars, the United States is a Cancer country. And this is like, here it is, as Mars is retrograde, saying, okay, we're going to declassify this. We're going to bring this out for the highest good for people, because people need to know the information. And I think the shit's going to really hit the fan for a lot of people, right? A lot of truths are going to come out with this. So it is going to bring in a little bit of chaos, but hey, that's fine. We're used to some chaos. And we want to look for more positive ideas. There's a lot of, the energy's good. It's intense. I mean, the intensity's there, the changes are coming in, and the intensity's there, but it's like, okay, there is a motivation. There is where we are able to come in. I mean, next week is going to be pretty big. We have the Chinese New Year, with the new moon. We have Uranus is going to be going direct. So this is like putting yourself into a positive place, right? So there's a lot of positive energy coming through, right? I tell you guys when it's positive, I tell you when it's good. Yeah, the intensity is still there, but it's still, getting you so you're not getting so wrapped up. And we're still not understanding. There are things that we're not understanding. So, we're not understanding the boundaries, how far we can push. We're seeing that with Canada. Like, how far can Canada push the boundaries? We'll be witnessing that. If you haven't ever looked at the formation of Canada, it's very interesting to look at how Canada was formed, and the creation of Canada, because for a while there, we were a part, with Louisiana and stuff, we were a part of the United States. We were, we were like an independent state. I've said that before to people, so you got to go back and do your history. And we were almost a French colony. So, I mean, it's interesting, but it's interesting to see, what's going on in Canada. And it's like, I hope people are seeing this same motto that was being said when Pluto was in Capricorn. So this is like Pluto in Aquarius is coming in and doing this last hurrah. It's like saying, look at this idiot. Like he's, like, let's band together. Anybody who doesn't agree with us is not Canadian, is not this, is not that. It's like, oh wow, let's separate everybody again. And Aquarius doesn't go for that. Like, they're like, hey, we're not about separation, we're about banding together, we're about humanity, we're about bringing in people together. So I find it very interesting where someone on the way out is trying to bring in old rhetoric, old ways of doing things, and people are just like, no, that just doesn't make sense. Why are we doing this? Why aren't we coming into a negotiation? Why aren't we coming in where we can talk this out, right? And work on it, instead of putting up our little tantrum of things. So, and that's the same way with Davos. That's the same with the WEF. You're seeing all these old oligarchs that are like not willing to change, doing, like saying like, no, we got to have this, we got to have it this way, but they're not wanting to bring in. And I keep going like this because this is what my guides are saying, like bringing in the circle, bringing the togetherness. Let's sit around the circle. Let's sit around. Let's have a communication. So bringing in that communication is so important. So important. So we have to look at how are we communicating with each other? How are we communicating with what our desires and wants and needs are? And are we coming together and allowing ourselves to voice that? Are we allowing ourselves to really explore that? Are we allowing ourselves to walk that? It's like really stepping forward upon your path and trusting upon that path, that divine guidance, knowing that there's a divine plan in all of this. It doesn't seem that way. That's why I love astrology. It doesn't seem that way, but there's a reason in the movements and the dance of the planets around the sun and how they do what they do. There's sextiles and trines and quincunx, and all of that is getting us an awakening. It's getting us to like really see what's going on and take charge of these things. So that's kind of like a real positive thing as we go in. Yeah, I think we're going to feel a little bit cray cray this weekend. There's a lot of energies that are coming in that we have to look at. How are we going to situate them? How are we going to work them? We have a lot of things coming in about AI. It's not going away, people. Just an FYI, it's not going away. I know you can be mad, you can be pissed. It's like, it's my mind goes to my mother who didn't want to have one of those TVs. Don't want one of those TVs. Why are you going to bring a TV into my house? And then when she did, she's like, oh my God, this is fabulous. It kept the children busy. But, there is a reason. Like, there's a reason for all of this. So AI is coming in. There's a reason why AI went to Texas and not in California. Even though California seems liberal, it's not, with the amount of restrictions and everything that it's coming down with when it comes to the AI. So it's going into Texas. The collaborations and everything that are happening, they even have the collaborations in that are happening here in Alberta with it, and bringing a centralization of it. And it's about reskilling yourself. How can you reskill? How can you learn to utilize this in new ways? This is where, and I'm just looking, my husband left his TV up. And I think this is funny because I'm looking at all these people on this, sorry, newscast. I'm like, in a couple years, those are probably all going to be AI generated, right? I just heard like one of my girls, she she's a nurse's aide. I think that's what she does. Anyway, she works with a lot of elderly, going to the elderly homes, and she has different clients. In a couple years, her job, because I mean, she's like, "Oh, I worked 50 hours last week," and oh my God, her company's going to look at things like that, like nurses and things. I mean, the changes that are going to be coming and the innovations that are going to be coming. Some I can hear you guys like, "Oh my God, what about people?" It's changing the way that we connect and how we need to connect. And that's the awakening. That's the awakening. It's getting us to awaken, right? Right? Okay. See ya. See you, lovey. Mwah. It's getting us to awaken in a new way. And that's the big part, right? So allow yourself to be more open-minded, not get caught up in all the crazies. Okay. So, anyways, I'm gonna pull you a card. I gotta go to work. I gotta work today until next week. I think I got a day off. I think my next full day off is on Wednesday. So that's fine. Oh my God. I got a lot of hair. It drives me crazy. But this is where it's like, I was watching this one woman, I think it was Adobe, and learning about Adobe. Anyways, and how she creates her fabrics and stuff like that and puts her creations onto a fabric and then sells them and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh my God, that's so fantastic, right? And they're making it so much easier to utilize and use, right? So that made me kind of excited. And I don't know, I just find like there's some really cool things that are opening up. It kind of scares me. Like I get like that feeling in my stomach's like, whoa, that's a lot. But it's stepping in to these new creations, right? It's like, when the 3D printer came out and everybody said, "Oh my god, look at that. What is it gonna do?" And it's like, how many great things can you do with a 3D printer, right? Well, the advancements on the 3D printer are going to be phenomenal. The advancements on computers and how we can interact are going to be even better than what we're doing now, right? So I think this is what we need to look at and step into, all the cool stuff, right? And I think it's just to, I don't know, people got to learn it. I mean, I got to learn it. We all got to learn it. We got to understand it in some way. There's going to be some real negative shit that comes out of that. Definitely. Definitely. But this is all part of understanding and learning, right? Some of the innovations, no, Barry, shut up, you got to get going. One of the innovations that came out at this time was the smallpox vaccine. And it was funny when the smallpox vaccine was coming out, it was taken from a cow, right? And a lot of people didn't want it. Like they're like, no, if you do that to me, I'm going to turn into a cow, right? You're going to change me. And it's interesting to see our thoughts on things, right? And that was one of the big, because a lot of people were dying from smallpox, and the one doctor who found like, hey, I can let me tell, and he actually, God, like there's no ethics back then, that's for fucking sure. But he tried it out on one of his farmhands' children who was 9 years old, and tried it out on him, and thank God it worked, But I mean, it was just like, "Oh, well, here, let me use your son as an experiment," right? Anyways, okay, let me pull a card. I'm gonna pull a card. I'm honestly pulling a card. Ah, see, rewards. There you go. Here comes the rewards. The rewards are there, but there's still work. This card is telling me that there's still work. You can enjoy the rewards that are coming, but there's still work to be done, right? And with that, you got to be in charge with what you want to do. You got to be your emperor. You got to be in charge of your destiny. You got to be in charge in how you are wanting to do it. Don't be afraid of it, right? This is about looking at, okay, this is my truth. This is my strength. This is what I need to be doing. And with that, overall, see, happy family, happy life. There you go. So there's a lot of goodness that can come out of this. All right. We know the change is here. This weekend is going to be a little bit hectic, a little bit cray cray, but that's okay. We can do it. We can handle it. We've been through worse. And watch, there's a lot of snakes out there. I think we're going into the year of the snake. I know I'm listening to a lot of these people, a lot of that are coming out and saying it's a year of healing. The snake's about healing the kundalini. Yeah, it's all about that. But you also got to watch the snakes in the grass. There's a lot of shit and a lot of deviants. Remember snake oil.
The snake in the Chinese thing.
That's right. And there's, you know what? You got to watch out for the snake oils. You got to watch out for the ones that are wanting to deceive. You got to watch out for those types of things that are coming in. Because there's, when you find a snake in the grass, is it a good snake? Is it a bad snake? Is it poisonous? What? So there's a lot of that that's happening through all of the goodness, right? So, anyways, I'm gonna love you and leave you. Have a fabulous day. Want to book a reading? Definitely get a hold of me, thegurumama@gmail.com. And yeah, February 1st, join me for the Embolic. All right. DM me for more details. God bless and the goddess bless you. Bye-bye. See ya.